I'm Leslie Schaefer, and you're watching Arts Alive Delaware. I would describe the Delaware Contemporary's role in Delaware's arts community as really essential. I believe that we bring a unique suite of programs. Our focus here at the Delaware Contemporary is to look at artists as they emerge in the field of art production, art presentation. We work regularly with larger organizations, more traditional museums, but what we find is a place that we can be most effective is in working with artists to get them to those traditional and more established museums. So by doing so, this may be the first time that they've ever had an exhibition. This may be the first time their work has been seen in public or has been put next to somebody else's work to create other conversations. And by doing so in a very professional way that we can here in the galleries, we hope that it will be one of many exhibitions, projects, etc., that artist will then be able to move forward to in their careers. And so I think focusing on that level of artist and focusing on growth opportunities as they emerge is really unique to what we do here. It's complemented by those that are doing it. So while the artists may be emerging, so are our professionals. Those that are putting together the exhibitions, those that are working on our staff are also very young in their careers and are looking to try new projects, to experiment a little. So in essence, I think we function as an incubator for artists and for arts professionals. This building was an old Amtrak building. And in 2000, it was refabricated to be gallery spaces. And so you look up and you'll still see the I-beams from the original structure and the concrete floors. So what we have here are 7 galleries that we occupy, about 6,000 square feet of gallery space. And then adjacent are 26 studios. And those studios represent a community of very diverse medium, very diverse ages, races, genders, interests, contents, whatever. It's a really big and broad community of artists that are within those gallery spaces. One project that I wanted to talk a little bit about that's new, that really brings a nice diversity and complements what I just told you about how we focus on emerging artists, is a residency program. So we have dedicated studios for residents each year. And these residents work throughout the year with a mentor, through professional development, with our curators to create a new body of work. And that work is then put into our galleries here. So right now we are in our summer season. The next artist in resident cohort starts in September, and they will work all year until the next summer where they will have their show. So that's a complement to our community of artists in the studios. There is an apartment, yes. We have 2 studio apartments that are available for artists who may stay longer. In fact, we're working on a project right now, a collaboration with the University of Delaware, to bring an artist in from out of the country who will work with both organizations to produce new work, to get involved in community activities, to interact with students, to interact with the public, and to bring really a different perspective. We've found that this space is welcoming to a diverse, not just of arts organizations, but of other nonprofits. And we work hard to invite those organizations in here to use our space for celebrations, but also just as a backdrop for whatever issues, topics, conversations that they might want to have. This past spring, the Delaware Contemporary, we partnered with 18 different organizations. And those organizations range from the Delaware Coalition Against Gun Violence, where we looked at how gun violence is impacting the state and our citizens and our communities and our neighbors here on the riverfront. and took that into a partnership with an artist and commissioned someone to make garden tools out of gun parts. We worked with Sunday Breakfast Mission around the corner to see how being in an art environment, just as the backdrop, just as the platform, would enhance the residents that they work with through an open arm, walking in and just sitting and having a conversation or a meal. We looked at how organizations like ours could help to start new organizations by supporting Harper's Heart as she, Giovanna Andrews, develops her bank for diapers for those that are in need across the city. And so I don't think that we necessarily focus all of our conversations just around the art itself, but around how art can envelop those other organizations in our city and in our state. The Delaware Contemporary, we work with other organizations outside of the art industry, outside of the art field, because the artists that we show are interested in those topics. They are using the canvases around us, they're using their sculpture, their clay, whatever materials they might be to process live world, what we all as a human race are experiencing either together here more intimately in our city or in global issues. And I think working with other partner organizations helps to better communicate those ideas for audiences and to bring their audiences into our space with the artist to have relevant, engaging, and hopefully provocative conversations around what we can all do to make a healthier community, to be more connected in lifetime. So when you come to the Delaware Contemporary, you're going to walk into this big open area, as part of that initial train repair area. And you'll see a very high ceiling surrounded by a little bit of art. So at first, I think it seems a little big and cavernous, but just adjacent are 7 galleries. The galleries change 3 times a year. So depending on when you come in, if it's the fall or the winter, spring, or the summer, there'll always be a new suite of exhibitions. And the exhibitions are topics that anyone can get their head around. Right now, the topic is radius. It's 250 miles from here. What do you know there? Who's working here? Who's living there? What's out there? What are the industries? What are the businesses, the tourists, the things we want to visit? So radius is very easy. This fall, we're going to be opening a season in September around the topic of escape. Who doesn't escape? And what are the means by which we escape? Why do we escape? How do artists escape? How does art help us escape? How does art transform us from one place to another? And so the topics that we have really, I think, are easy for anyone to come around, and we hope that they will start a conversation that we're not thinking about. And that's kind of the idea behind it, is what do you bring to the table as an audience? So please come. I think one of the most engaging times to be here at the Delaware Contemporary is on the season openers. So in September at the first Friday, in February at the first Friday, in June at the first Friday, the artists are here, their families are here, their supporters are here. It's really a diverse group of people. We have food trucks, we have music, we have usually some art making in the galleries, we have demonstrations, we have conversations. And so it's a very lively and engaging few hours, and it's open, it's free. One strategy that we launched during the pandemic is our Platform Gallery Exhibition Series, and that is our public art program. Looking at the outside of our building, the big sheet metal structure, right, with just these very gray steel walls, it's not that engaging. And so thinking about how can we bring our neighborhood around our building? How can we be a presence all day long, all night long? We worked with a curator in residence to create a new program, the Platform Gallery. And the Platform Gallery is named because we're right next to the Amtrak train station. And from the train, you can see one of the installations. There are 3 installations. The artists are selected by a curator in residence. The artists are commissioned, they're given dimensions of a framed space, and they create new work. And that new work goes up twice a year. Every 6 months, we rotate a new suite of 3 images. And those images have been really diverse. We are now in September launching our 7th And so this started in June of 2020. We had a drive-through experience where you would be in your car, and we had some people out in the parking lot, but the art was out and it was available. And since then, we've been able to add lights so that it's available 24 hours a day and frame it so that it's a little bit more structured. But the artists are international. The artist today is Ugandan in nature, and he's using photography as a base. The artist that will go in September is a Wilmington native, and she's a painter. And so we'll transfer her paint style to these large format banners. And so we hope that that program will continue, but that's been a very successful pandemic program for us. We are free, as I mentioned, to come into the door. So getting involved as a member, gives you a lot of benefits, not just discounts, as most memberships do, to our ticketed events and shops and things like that, artwork, buy artwork. But it also provides you just, an ongoing feed of knowledge about what the events are, our programs that are happening. We have a special member-only program that happens once a month, and those are, again, partners with other organizations, other kinds of arts, so jazz, opera, theater, come in once a month and provide a new way to see their creative process in the gallery spaces or in our lobby space, or if it's more appropriate in our black box. So the membership is a really great way to get involved. So I am a trained educator, and the arts have impacted my life in a way that continues every day. With every exhibition that we present, every artist that I meet, I always learn something new. The beauty and wonderful aspect of contemporary art is that the artists are thinking about what's happening around us in new ways. And so it's always challenging, not just me, but others, to see something in a new way and reflect on it and transform our way of thinking, elevate our way of thinking, or disregard it. I think that there's that option, but it's always a new process for me. Every day, every time I come to work, I get to think about life in a new way. And we really hope that, I mentioned the platform gallery, that we would be able to do that for others. So the initiatives that we're thinking about going forward are more public art. How do we get art into the community so that others can have the daily access to art that we do here in the riverfront? What makes the Delaware Contemporary different from the Delaware Art Museum, they have a wonderful collection, several collections, and they're able to provide context and history and a base for the artists that we work with to either respond to or learn from or just admire, as artists that have come before. Traditional art museums, such as the Philadelphia Art Museum, tend not to show artists who are just starting out their career. And so we feel that what we can do is prepare them for their big retrospective at the Philadelphia Art Museum. Supporting the arts in Delaware is critical. We together as organizations talk all the time. We think about the visitors, we think about the economic impact of the arts, we think about how collectively we can provide a landscape of really diverse experiences, from performance and music to visual art and creativity. And we do, as arts leaders in these organizations, we're thinking about the public and thinking about where are the gaps, where are the overlaps, so that there is the broadest possible platform for engagement. And those engagements then lead to a connectivity between visitors who live here and work here, visitors from out of town, and just our community in general.
I'm Jennifer Gunther, and you're watching Arts Alive Delaware. We've only been Artworks for All since 2019, and most people remember us because we are entering our 37th year of operation as a nonprofit here in the state of Delaware. We started out as Very Special Arts, transitioned to VSA, and then in 2019 sort of reimagined with a name that really spoke to our mission. And so while the name has changed over the course of 37 years, the mission has remained the same. And that is to provide artistic opportunities for individuals with disabilities, to serve people with disabilities, that particular population. And that's something we've been passionate about, and we've always remained, our programming is always tied back to serving people with disabilities, inclusion populations. And we do that in a variety of ways. We are a statewide organization, so we have our toes in every county here in the state. And programmatically, we achieve our mission primarily through artist residencies. And sometimes when I say the term artist residencies, not everybody fully understands it. Do you bring artists in and they live with us? No. We primarily, I'd say, serve from 3 to 90, but a lot of our work, primarily our work, focuses on the K through 12 population and providing artist residencies to special education schools and inclusion classrooms throughout the state. So an artist residency to us, and it could mean different, that term can mean different things to different organizations. We provide a teaching artist, sometimes an art therapist, sometimes an art educator, to go in and work with a particular population for a period of time. And we really follow it's not a cookie cutter approach. We engage with a particular group or classroom or school, and we figure out what the needs are. And then we put together an art education curriculum, working with our teaching artists to achieve those needs. And it can be very different. Sometimes an artist residency might have a mural artist going in to work with a particular classroom to create a tile mural in their school cafeteria. So it's much more focused on that end result, that end product. A lot of the work we do is out in the community. We serve a lot of community groups, collaborating, especially those organizations serving the same population, individuals with disabilities. That might be working with KSI Industries, which is a structured employment workshop, to Stokely Hospital, to Salvation Army's Employment Division. So we really do collaborate with community groups by helping them serve the needs of their populations. With regard to other organizations, I feel that other organizations have turned to Artworks for All throughout the years, because one of our things is advocacy for working with individuals with disabilities and providing resources to working with individuals with disabilities. I know we've collaborated even with Delaware Division of the Arts to help with creative access and access opportunities, and really understanding what that means, what cultural access means to other arts organizations, and helping them be more proficient in providing access to the arts for all. Annually, we do an arts exhibition called Celebration and Creativity. And we will start our 26th year of providing that opportunity. And it's grown and changed and transformed over the years. And I'm really proud of what it's become and where it's moving towards. Our visual arts residencies produce artwork, they create artwork. And participants in those residencies select a work of art to become a part of Celebration and Creativity. Annually, we mat and frame professionally that artwork. It debuts at the Arts Center Gallery at Delaware State University. Thank you, Delaware State, for allowing us to use the Arts Center Gallery. And we start that year-long celebration of creativity by inviting our participants to the gallery. For our younger participants, our K through 12, it's their first time sometimes walking into an exhibition space. And they not only walk into the exhibition space, but they get to see their artwork on the wall. So we provide field trip opportunities where they come with their classes and their administrations, and you get to see that it's such an amazing process for them to see their artwork, their creative product valued and shared. Over the years, we've then been able to start touring Celebration of Creativity. So it debuts in May, is open to field trips and visits and opportunities at the Arts Center Gallery. And then we pack it away, we divide it up, and then we move it around the state to different locations. Last year, it was at the Biggs Museum, it was at the Delaware Children's Museum, it was at the Reading County Building Gallery space, and most recently, Wilmington University, and then its last stop for this past year was Legislative Hall, where it was on display as part of March for the Arts opportunity. And I'm really proud of that unique opportunity to promote the artwork of individuals with disabilities, to promote access to the arts for all, to share art throughout the community as well. You know, there's an interesting art education opportunity that had the title, it's a professional development opportunity for educators here in the state of Delaware. And for a long time, I'm not sure if it's still called this, but it was referred to as fundamental, not ornamental. And I think many people don't realize the fundamental value of the arts as learning tools for our students, as lifelong opportunities to engage our aging population, and opportunities for families to be together and participate. There's very few opportunities where families can actually be engaged in endeavors, and creativity brings that. I think we lose sight of the value of creativity and the problem solving, the self-expression, the self-confidence that comes with having those opportunities. And I think we have to be advocates. I teach at Delaware State, primarily arts administration, and you know, I teach my students to be advocates because we will always have to be advocates. And so we have to keep telling the story, and we have to keep promoting it, and the arts are worth it. We just have to make sure that we continue that story and build on that story. You know, I started out as with an undergraduate degree in painting, and I became an art therapist and worked in mental health using the arts to support individuals. And I've transitioned throughout the years into arts administration, and I've recently moved into exploring creative placemaking and community revitalization, and the impact has been huge. I don't know what else to say, and it's been diverse, and it's been a joy and an adventure, and it sounds like it's over, but it's not, you know? I think I'm one of the lucky ones that really figured out the different ways that the arts supported not only my professional, but my personal life. And it's hopefully something that I'm able to share.
This is Richard Scalenge.
And this is Carol Dennis.
And you're watching Arts Alive Delaware. Coastal Concerts is the premier organization for classical music in Southern Delaware, and mainly because we offer 6 to 7 concerts annually from October through May. But in addition to the concerts, we also do a lot of outreach with students, with communities, community agencies in the area, nursing homes, master classes with our artists. So we do a lot more than just concerts, and we're very proud of our outreach in Southern Delaware.
With our chamber music series, have a broad range of various classical styles and ensembles. So for instance, there might be some individual performers like a single pianist. There might be a string quartet, a brass quintet, a woodwind ensemble. We actually had a Baroque orchestra at one of our concerts. So there's varied styles of music. Every year, our last concert, we call our wild card concert, which is an opportunity for us to really expand what most people think of as chamber music.
We perform at the Bethel United Methodist Church in Lewis. It's a wonderful facility for us, a nice music hall. Acoustics are great, and we offer all of our concerts there. This year, however, is our 25th anniversary, and we have 2 concerts at the high school in Lewis. And we're very excited about that. It offers us a larger venue to bring more people in to hear our artists. But for the most part, Bethel is our headquarters for our concerts.
25 years is a long time. 25 years ago, there wasn't much music, particularly classical music, in Southern Delaware. And there were a number of volunteers who just thought, hey, we need and we deserve some really world-class music. So it started as a volunteer organization. We currently continue as a volunteer organization. We do have a paid executive director, Carol, who's here. We have an administrative assistant, but everybody else who works with us is a volunteer.
25 years is a long time, Richard, and we are celebrating not only the past 25 years, but we're celebrating our pathway to the next 25 years. And how do we get there? What do we do? Do we do things different? Do we have different goals? Do we continue the same work we're doing? Our mission is to enrich, inspire, and transform our community through music. And we've held true to that mission for 25 years. And that will be our roadmap going forward into the future. We have a wonderful youth music scholarship program for middle and high school students. Each year we have anywhere from 16 to 18 applicants, and we have given out over the past few years close to $65,000 in scholarships to about 61 students. And these kids are terrific. I mean, we have them perform at our concerts. We have an annual scholarship winners concert each year, and they're phenomenal. And we're very proud of the way the program has developed over the years. Last year was our first year of having in-person auditions for our students, which went fabulously. The kids loved it, the parents loved it, the judges had a great time. And we hope to continue that, and we hope to build our program over the next few years.
There's a lot more that we do in the community as well. With any arts organization, particularly classical music, we need to pay attention to creating and supporting the next generation of audience members and performers as well. So we, every year, bring a number of our artists who are performing on our stage out to schools to do concerts and master classes. We have an instrument donation program where Local people might have had an instrument in their attic for a while, and if it is gently used, they share it with us, and we make sure it gets out to students within our community. We also are involved with a number of other organizations in the community, such as First State Community Action Agency in Georgetown, which is a social service agency. And they have an after-school program, and we have been providing music sessions, not so much music education, but music activities, which is age appropriate for the students. We also work with La Esperanza, also in Georgetown. We've provided a number of concerts there. We work closely with the school programs in Sussex County. We've had a number of concerts that we have done. We most recently this year had heard from the music educators at Seaford High School that one of their big needs is to do music sectionals. So the music director doesn't really have the capacity to, or the time to really work individually with the flute section, the trumpet section, the saxophone section. So we were instrumental in linking local musicians to come in to do those special sessions. We also had worked with their theater program and also their choir program as well. So all these will collectively, hopefully, will generate interest in classical music and also help secure our future audiences. For our artists who regularly perform on our stage, we have a programming committee who is very knowledgeable on and linked with great ensembles. In terms of volunteering with us, if you are a local musician and would like to help us in our efforts of going into the schools, whether that's the after-school program or the high schools and the junior high, all you would need to do is just go on to Coastal Concerts websites, coastalconcerts.org, and then contact Carol Dennis, our executive director, and she will link you up with the appropriate people that we can talk about what the possibilities are.
Yeah, with regard to our artists that we bring in, we, as Richard said, we have a very, very skilled program committee that researches, studies the whole year, a couple of years ahead of time. We book our artists about a year and a half out. We send somebody to New York every year for the CMA conference to meet, to talk with artists and agents, to get a handle on who are the up and coming artists that we want to network with and work with. And we have a wonderful committee of, and they're made up of former conductors, musicians, educators. So we're very proud of the work that they've done to bring these international and national artists to the stage. I moved to Lewis 7 years ago from Baltimore, and my work had always been in healthcare. And when I moved to Lewis, I knew I wasn't ready to retire. I wanted to do something different. And I found Coastal Concerts, and 6 years ago, I became their executive director. And how it's impacted my life is, I would say, I love working with our board, who is so passionate about the work we do. I love working with the students and seeing the excitement that these students have when we come to schools to do master classes, to do sectionals, to do concerts. And I love being part of making a small difference in the community to bring classical music to Southern Delaware.
Music has been really important in my life. So early on as a child, I had attention deficit disorder, and my reading comprehension was really bad. I found when I was reading, my eyes would continue to wander. When I started to learn how to play an instrument and to read music, the rhythm assisted me in slowing down and being able to follow follow the music, and as soon as my eyes would wander, I would get lost, and I was so motivated by the music, it taught me to be able to continue, and my reading comprehension had well shot up at that point. So I decided to go to school and become a music therapist. So I truly understand the power that music has on impacting people's lives in so many different ways. More recently, I'm a musician. I play in several jazz bands. I also play in the Rehoboth Concert Band. I play with classical guitar. In addition to clarinet and jazz guitar, I play with a flute player, and we play out around the areas. So music is such an important part in my life. I really feel that that's one of the reasons why I'm a volunteer with Coastal Concerts, to be able to share that and the excitement for people to be able to bring more music into their life as well.